We are now live. We haven't been traded. We're still here. I guess we're too old to be prospects.
Yeah, I don't think AJ could have got a whole lot for me. So yeah,
Maybe
the bag of peanuts wasn't enough. Yeah.
I was thinking together we might get a half a bag of peanuts.
Wow, what a roller coaster today, huh?
Tamara, anything new? No, except
No,
it's.
we got what is it, about 8 new guys on the team? So
I was trying to write them because we had the last minute Glatfelder boys come over and spend the night, so we're running around trying to get things
yeah,
done. And so I forgot to write down the names. I only got six. I can't remember the other guy we got from Toronto. Will something? Will?
Wagner. It's Billy Wagner's son.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, yeah,
I didn't even know that. Yeah, I didn't even look
yeah.
at it that close.
I know we're going to get into it pretty good here, Jack. But the ultimate thing to me is to recognize and congratulate AJ Preller and Chris Camp on their scouting ability. They just, man, there's unbelievable scouting. I know, when everybody saw the first trade with DeVries going, I mean, wow, talk about, I'd say about 90% of the comments were get rid of AJ. This is ridiculous. Why are we doing this crap? And of course, I don't post a whole lot on X, but I just said, I'll wait to reserve my judgment until the end of the day, because you
Because
just
obviously he
don't
had
know
a
where he's going to
plan.
go. Yeah, he always does. And I don't get it. If you've been watching the Padres and AJ for the last 12 years, just sit back in your seat and wait till the end, because the ride, it was just starting. You knew he was going to get to what they needed. And maybe, a lot of our pundits out there, it's not what they wanted to do, but they got what he needed. And, I think the for me was the real sign is when at the end of the trading deadline and it's all said and GMs come out and say, the Astros wanted Cease, but they said the price was too high. And I kind of like that. That means it reaffirms what I already know about AJ. He won't make a deal unless it's good for the Padres,
Right.
So yeah.
I'm having a slight debate with someone on Twitter about that right now. They said they're up. He was upset that they kept Suarez because Suarez was walking at the end of the year. I said, but even you said in your thing that Suarez has been garbage the last. When he put the stats up, and he hasn't been
Yeah.
very good the last 3 months, whatever it is. And then I'm like going, I don't think it's been that bad. But I go, yeah, but you look at, I go, they probably were just, people were offering like a bag of peanuts. Why trade him just for the sake of
Yeah.
trading him? I mean, I saw what some of the other players were going for. Some of the other relievers. I mean, there was a lot of relievers being traded today and yesterday. And I said, I think I texted you after we got Miller. I said, I hope they keep Suarez.
Yeah.
I hope
Yeah.
they don't trade him now.
Well, and it made sense. And again, we'll never hear all the offers and what the possibilities were and everything. But you're right, Jack. I think that was the case with both Cease and Suarez. Preller did a press conference here afterwards, and the bits and pieces I was able to to kind of get through not only X, but I caught the last half of it on the local radio station. And bottom line is like you need players to win World Series, and so he still looks at Cease and Suarez like these are great pitchers. Why would I give them away? I'll you know what? If they walk, they walk. If I make an offer and they walk, well then I get a compensation pick. And I just think it's just true to AJ Preller's personality, or the way he runs his shop, is he's just not afraid to listen, and he's not afraid to make a deal, and he's not afraid to not make a deal. And
Yeah.
I got to say, I was not his biggest fan for years. And then I think it was last year, I finally caught hold of what AJ Preller is. He's just operating at the mode that his ownership is letting him operate, which is every year we're trying to win a World Series.
Right.
Every year. We're not worried about 3 years from now. And look at the recovery he's made from some of these trades. Everybody's like, oh, the farm system's empty again. It was empty last year. It was
Yep.
empty the year before. It was empty the year before that.
After we traded Soto, they said it's going to take years for the
Yeah.
Padres to build up a farm system
Yeah.
again.
But yet, I think it was 11 or 12 minor leaguers went in the deals.
Yeah.
Apparently, it wasn't empty.
Yeah.
So,
and he kept guys like Morgan, which I was hoping he would keep. I like Morgan. Again, but you look at the trades. My bottom line was: are we better today than we were yesterday? And the answer is yes.
It's not even close.
It's
not even close. You lost what, Lockridge?
Lockridge.
I mean, on the current major league roster, Lockridge and Kolek and Berger, even though they've all been up and down, but those are the three guys who have played in the major leagues for us.
I didn't like losing Berger and Kolek, but I said, well, you got to do what you got to do.
Yeah, you don't get great players for crap.
Right. And I said, well, now we have a bench, and now we have. I mean, look at the choices he has in the bullpen.
Yeah.
I mean, to me, it's incredible. Like I said, I think I said last week or the week before, I go, I'd like another bullpen arm. I'd like another solid bullpen arm, because look what it did last year to us.
Right.
I mean, we just went boom. And I can't complain about these trades. I just can't.
Yeah. I mean, you almost have a problem now with who you're going to keep on the major league roster. By my count, I did it really roughly, but I think they're going to have to, DFA a couple of guys or send them down. You got, I think it's 8 starters counting King. So you got 7 for right now. And you got, I think it's 9 relievers that you still got that are either already in the major leagues or, been traded to us. Your bench is so solid now. I mean, I look at it, and I'm going to assume that Maldonado will probably be the one that they let go. I'm not sure of that.
That was my thought. Yeah. I think that he's the one.
So you're going to have Furman is going to take over, and I think for the remainder of this year, you're still going to probably see a split of Diaz and Furman. That's just my gut. You've got O'Hearn and Arise and Sheets probably platooning at first base. Arise is going to always play, but he's going to either DH or play first base. O'Hearn will be your first baseman. Of course, you've got your solid Cronenworth and Bogarts and Machado. And then the outfield, Laureano is going to be your outfielder. Now he's an excellent defensive outfielder. He's got some pop. And so Sheets will just probably be more of the DH like he used to be and won't see the field a whole lot. Yeah.
He's got a cannon for an arm.
Yeah.
So you got 3 guys in the outfield that can chuck it.
Yeah. And, the starting rotation is going to work its way out. Right now, you got King and Cortez are both in rehab, both ready to come out. So, you've got Darvish, you've got Pivetta, you've got I always get it when I start trying to do them in order. Vasquez, you've got
Vasquez.
And now you trade it for Sears. I like some of the moves that he made, especially by getting 2 left-handers with Cortez and Sears. We've got good bullpen left-handers, but we obviously didn't have a left-hander for a starter. I think that's important when you start getting to talk about the playoffs and getting to the playoffs. I think the other thing for me, Jack, and then I'll let you take off on a little bit of a rant because I've taken up a lot of it already. The thing I like about his trades this year is he got quite a few players that have a lot of length to go on their contract. I think Cortez and O'Hearn are the only ones that are walkable. They'll be walking at the end of the year. Laureano's got one more year with a club option. Very affordable club option, and Sears has got like 3 or 4 years to go.
Miller has 4 years.
Yeah, Miller has 4 years. Wagner's got, I don't think he's even to ARB yet. So I think that was a thing that I really was happy with, not going the rental route, not going with somebody that's going to walk at the end of the year for all these things. So. Yeah,
I'd love to make it to Game 5, Michael.
Yeah,
I love it.
Well, and that's just it. Sometimes you do pick up somebody, and he got him on the cheap. He got Lockridge, who, let's quite frankly, did a really good job for the Padres. Was hitting 333, but he was never going to be the regular left field.
Lockridge was hitting 333.
Yeah. In fact, he was hitting 360 for a while there.
You're thinking of.
Oh no, you're right.
You're thinking Johnson. Locker was
I
hitting
am
like
thinking
what was hitting
Johnson.
like
You are
180.
correct. Yeah, you're correct. Yeah. So even better. Yeah, I mixed up my names. I'm glad you caught that, Jack. 'Cause
I said,
you're-
why was he sent down if he was hitting 333?
uh,
But yeah, I like the options, and like you said, it was like I didn't have a chance to look at everybody, but I was like going, yeah, I know Mason Miller and Sears are long term. And you said Wagner is, and then Furman and Lariano. Is it what's his name?
Laureano.
Lariano.
Yeah.
I said,
Ramon Laureano, and he's got let's see, he's got a club option for 6.5 million next year.
and that's not bad.
Yeah, and then he'll be a unrestricted free agent. But still, it's more than the end of the year. It gives you at least an option there.
You look at I was like, I didn't have a chance to play with it, but I'm like, you're back to last year where you had like 9 guys that could do the job. It's not like you go, oh, here come the bottom 3.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God, what's going to happen? I just, like I said, you could move. I would, maybe Tatis leading off, Merrill second, Machado third. I mean, there's so many different things you can do. It's just, I mean, Schilt has to be just over the moon. I mean, because we were, a lot of people are bashing Schilt, and I'm like going, what's he supposed to do? You look at the bench, you got guys that shouldn't even be on the team. I mean, let's face it. I mean, obviously Wade and Brooks will be gone. I think Johnson's been playing pretty well, so I think he stays. But like you said, the pitchers, I mean, we're going to have to,
it's a good problem to have, right?
Yeah.
It's a good problem to have to sit there and say, well, who am I going to keep on the front staff here? So I got it in front of me. Got Darvish, Cease, King, Pivetta, Cortez, Vasquez, and Sears. Again, 3 of those guys are on the IL right now. So right now your starters are Darvish, Cease, Pivetta, Vasquez, and Sears.
Yeah.
That's as of today, and then when King comes back, I don't know. That's going to be a tough call, or maybe they go to a 6-man rotation. I mean, there's, with some of the arms recovering, they may, and with the 5 horsemen now, maybe you don't have to worry about having a pitcher go 7 innings every game. I mean, the bullpen, unbelievable. Unbelievable. I know they were comparing the Mets bullpen with it, but it's like, come on, we're 5 closers deep now.
Yeah.
5 closers deep.
Well, you look at like I said, I would probably go with a 6-man rotation with everything, because you have Darvish, who's been hurting, and King was on the IL for what seems like 3 months, 3 months, something like that. So why burn these guys out? Have them strong going into the playoffs. And like you said, the bullpen, now Estrada could be your 6th guy. He has closer stuff. He's your 6th inning guy now. Yeah.
Well, and the fact of the matter, and again, we're getting ahead of ourselves, talking about playoffs, but obviously that's the intent of this, right?
Right.
It's not to assume that we're going to be there. But even in a season, you think about how many times the Padres have maybe been on a roll and they play in some close games, and we start doing the whole pitch count thing with, well, doggone it, Adams, thrown 30 pitches and 20 pitches the last 2 nights, can't use him. Well, now you got 5 guys to fill those 3 or 4 innings. And again, that's not taking away from the fact that you still got Morgan, you still got Matsui, and you still got Peralta. You still got guys that can come in, and maybe it's not a close game. Ricciano did a great job the other night,
Yeah.
And you haven't lost some of those guys that are available to bring up still. Now, don't get me wrong, we lost Bergert and Kolick, but we still have Hoeing. We still have Reynolds. We've got some guys that can come up at any moment and say, hey, you know what? We blew our bullpen out the last 2 games. We need somebody to come up here and fill that long relievers role. Now, I'm ecstatic. I am. I'm ecstatic. Do I hate losing prospects? I've always hated losing. But you know what? That is an 18-year-old kid that's in single-A ball. While I'm not doubting the fact that he could someday be a superstar or a good major league ball player, that's 3 or 4 years away. And you know what? By then, guy on the radio said, this time next year, he says, I'm confident that Preller and his team will have another shortstop that's sitting in the minors that everybody covets.
Right. And the way Bogarts is playing, where was he going to play?
Yeah.
I mean, right.
Yeah. it was causing problems, right?
Yeah.
You talked about it. Like, what are we going to do in 2 years?
Yeah. If he's
but
ready in 2 years, what are you going to do?
but I think that's why I love having Preller as the GM. I've learned to love what the guy does. He operates for the now. And you know what? He's not afraid to make moves. And the more you listen to these guys on MLB and ESPN, he's got a lot of respect. It's like, yeah, he's kind of crazy. You don't know where it's coming from. But man, you look at the end of the day, and to your point, Jack, this team really looks good now. I mean,
Yeah.
there's not a hole anymore, not one. I mean, a lot of high praise for Freddie Furman that's coming over. He's been stuck behind Salvador Perez,
I got to be
for a
honest. I
few
don't.
years.
I don't know that much about him. I just looked at his stats.
Well, let's put it this way, and again, one of the guys that we like to follow, Giannis. I mean, he was just going ballistic this morning about because they traded. I'm sure you saw that.
Yeah. Well, he was
but
very.
Even he kind of came down at the end of the day and said, "Well, I spent my day screaming at AJ, and now I'm kind of seeing it." And I'm like, "Well, of course." Because you didn't wait. You didn't wait till the finished product was out there.
And again, because he's been complaining for a few weeks. Don't trade to Rise. Don't trade. And I'm like going, well, if the right deal's out there. I mean,
yeah.
And people, you should have traded Salas. I go, well, Salas right now, he's hurt.
You wouldn't get the value for him.
No,
he was inquired about him. About a couple teams inquired about him, but yeah, why'd you trade somebody? Because you're not going to get full value for him.
Yeah.
You're not. And the other thing is, a lot of people kind of forget. Sometimes you get more value for somebody that hasn't even made it yet. And for all we know, not jinxing the kid or, wishing bad on him, but he may never get to the major leagues.
Yeah.
And you just got what you wanted out of it. And I like major league ready. I've always felt that trading a single A or a rookie ball or sometimes even a double A, although I know double A is more like triple A used to be. I don't think there's anything bad with doing that, because you're hanging it on somebody's perspective that this guy's going to be a major leaguer. I like what he did today with getting Miller. Your point, 4.5 years on that contract. Are you kidding me? We know Suarez is going to walk. And whether or not they try to make him a starter, I don't know. But the bottom line is we've got the guy for 4.5 years. And you got Sears for another year. That's like you just lengthened your team and your contract status.
And they got cheaper.
Yeah. Sears is not even to ARB1 yet. So you got both of these guys for 4.5 years.
And Miller was rumored to be going to the Dodgers. He was rumored to be going to the Yankees. A lot of big name teams wanted him. And you know how I know we did well in the trade deadline? Because Dodger fans are bashing us, saying, "Oh, you gave up your farm system. You gave up your farm." I go, "What do you care?"
Yeah.
That we gave up our farm system, because now they're worried because now we can compete with them.
I found it surprising, not that this is a Dodger show, but I found it surprising they traded Dustin May.
Yeah, I was surprised. I don't know, what did they get for him?
Sorry, Michael, he went to the Red Sox.
No. What did they get for him? I didn't see what they got for him.
Bag of beans, yeah. Some prospect, yeah.
Yeah, Dustin May.
Well, with their current staff, and look, I can't disagree with this, and I'll say this one thing about the Dodgers: they just need to get healthy. That was kind of the common phrase with what most of the commentators like. Like, I still love the Dodgers. They just need to get healthy. Now, my response to that is, you're right, but will they?
Yeah.
That's my response. It's one thing to say, "Oh yeah, we're just going to get healthy again." It's like, well, I don't know. You got Glass now with a glass elbow. You got Snell, who has yet to come back. You've got Ohtani leaves the mound with cramps the other day. You look at their roster and you go, yeah. If you look at the back of the baseball card, so to speak, yeah, they'd be awesome, but they haven't been there. And then, the other thing is that some of their lineup is starting to, get some holes in it. I was surprised a little bit that the Dodgers were not a little bit more active. I wasn't expecting wholesale changes. The one that scared me the most, I don't know about you, Jack, the one that scared me the most is I thought they were going to get Quan. And I would not like that at all.
Oh, excuse me. I was trying to mute my mic, but I couldn't reach it in time. But yeah, I was yeah, like you said, Tyler Glass now is healthy now, but still, I mean, I don't wish anything on him, but I'm just like,
No.
he just has a history of being hurt.
Yeah.
So we'll see. I mean, but I think the Padres can, I feel, more comfortable going into a series with them now than I did before, because again, the bullpen is lights out.
Yeah.
Michael says,
someday
cramps
I'd love to get Michael on here live. Someday we're going to have to make that happen because Michael, you're right. I mean, yeah, I did the quotation marks, Michael. I'm kind of doubting that it was cramps.
Yeah, I think something else.
I think something else was going on, and they just don't want to put it out there.
Well,
and
Michael,
I was telling the Michael that I know that is a friend of mine. Just
you're the mayor of Corona.
Yeah. I was telling him today. I said my partner Jack was right all along. I think he had a valid reason. The Dodgers should never have pitched Ohtani this whole year. Give him another year to get ready and be fully, there. And I don't know that, again, we're not a doctor, and I'm not trying to say that they're lying. I just have a suspicion. Let's call it that. I have a suspicion that it was more than cramps. Yeah.
Well, with the problem with Ohtani is I would have been saying he's too valuable an offensive weapon to risk getting. I mean, you have pitchers that are on the IL, but you should have enough pitching that you don't need Ohtani to pitch.
Yeah.
And to me, I wouldn't risk it. He's had two. Well, at least one Tommy John surgery. I don't know what they called the other one, but he's had 2 operations.
Right.
Now he can't have a third one.
Right.
I mean, it just can't. And to me, he's the face of baseball. And I'm not a Dodger fan, but
him and Judge,
yes. But losing Ohtani is just too much to lose. I wouldn't pitch him. I just wouldn't do it.
And I think they got holes that I'm surprised they didn't try to go fill too, because I know this is like calling the kettle black or whatever that saying is. I can't come with it right now, but they are getting a little long in the tooth, and it hits every player at a different time, and whether it lasts the whole year, whether they, but Mookie Betts is looking scary bad. Freddie Freeman has dropped from, what was he, 333 for a while, and he's down to I think it's 280, 290. In fact, Manny Machado is now the batting leader in the National League at 303.
Manny's on a roll.
Yeah.
Manny's
and again, this is this is the wavelength thing. This is the the 162 games, you're going to have ups and downs. But I gotta tell you, they're leaking a little bit here. Man, I tell you, Michael, you're hitting the points that right spot on. I think I just don't think Dave Roberts is a good manager. I really don't.
I never thought he was a good. He's good. He's a good manager with great talent. So
I don't think that's just it. I don't think he's a good manager. I think he's just got so much talent he can't screw up too much. So
well, Michael said Dave Roberts is too close to Ohtani. Ohtani tells him he's good to go, and Roberts probably wanted to make him happy. Mm-hmm. Sometimes a guy needs to be told to sit down.
Yeah. So there's my buddy Michael in the chat.
How's it going, Michael?
Michael, how are you doing? Yes, we love Freddie Freeman, or I do. I went and looked up his stats, and he is markedly better than either one of the catchers we have. He's had limited play time for the last 2.5 years behind Salvi.
Which makes sense.
Last year he had a 3.1, I think it was, WAR.
Really?
The guys. That's Wagner. I'm sorry, I misquoted. But he's in that 2, I think it was 1.5 and 2. Bottom line is he's hit. If I can find my post, I actually posted his stats because, to me, he just wasn't getting the due credit for what he was. Here it is. In 2023, Freddie Freeman hit 281 with a 1.6 WAR in a half a season. In 2024, he hit 271 with a 3.0 WAR in 111 games. And this year, he's hitting 255 with a 1.2 WAR in 67 games. Markedly better.
And
Markedly
I
better
got to ask
than what
this,
we
and
got.
I'm not trying to be mean. Is he overweight?
No, he's actually a kind of a skinnier kind of guy. Actually,
Because
he's also 30 years old. So I mean, it took a little longer for him to get there. But again, you're behind probably a potential Hall of Famer
he's
of
definitely Hall of
Salvi
Famer.
Perez. So yeah, you're right, Michael. You're right.
Yeah.
You gotta have a good catcher.
I remember saying that we were in Verona last week.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is both our catchers seem to have a weight issue, which really clogs up the bases.
Well, and look, almost all catchers do. I mean, there's not too many guys that have run the bases well in their time. Brad Osmus comes to mind, and there's been a few, but
I'm saying you look at Maldonado running, it's just
yeah.
like Jay always says, Baywatch.
But anyway, the Kansas City Royal organization, the GM there stated, he said, this personally wise was one of the hardest trades I've ever made to trade him away
Really?
because he's been very patient. He's learned a lot from Salvi. He's just needed his time, and so I look at it and go, wow, we are getting somebody. Let me look up his. He is going to ARB1 in 2026. We have him till at least 2029. So,
nice.
So 30 years old. He'll be 34 by that time. I mean, if he ends up being what it looks like AJ thinks he's going to be, I think that's a good deal. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that Blue Jays catcher's a big guy too. I'm just saying.
But the thing is, though, Michael's right. Though, look at our beloved Santiago. I mean, Benito was wiry and stole our bases, and he broke down. I mean, it's just certain things that you want out of certain positions, right? I mean, let's face it, O'Hearn, even though he's going to be with us only a half a year, is more of what you want out of a first baseman. Power hitter, tall, I think Arias has played an amazing first base as far as defensively. I mean, he has improved 1,000% over last year, and that's because he worked hard at it, But to your point, I'd always rather have a 6'2", first baseman as a target and everything.
Yeah, because it's stretch
but
alone.
He DHs a lot too, so I don't know how much he'll play first base. He may end up being the left fielder tandem with Laureano. That's because lefty righty, So you may end up having never having or not having them on the field at the same time.
Well, at least again, options.
Yeah, and more than that, good options. Now you go to your bench, and one of those guys, either Laureano. I think Laureano's going to play left field a lot more. Let's put it that way. But I think you'll have either O'Hearn or Sheets ready to pinch hit, whichever one's not playing.
Right.
I think you're going to still have Iglesias doing what he's done. Nobody's got 4 options sitting on their bench, but I think they'll have 2 legitimate ones as well as a backup catcher. And then we'll find out who that other player is going to be. Is it going to be Tyler Wade because of his speed? Is it going to be Bryce Johnson or both of them? That may be our bench right there.
Well, I think, to be fair, I think Bryce Johnson has earned a chance to stay for now. Tyler Wade, you can release Tyler Wade or put him down. I mean, who's going to take him? He just seems like a good clubhouse guy. I mean,
they love him.
Yeah, he's in the videos.
He's
in all those things. So do you keep him to keep the team happy?
Yeah.
But again,
he's kind of a version of Tim Flannery from days past. The glue guy, they like to call those guys, the glue guy, the guy that gets everybody pumped up and happy. And
it's a tough choice, but Brooks is gone. He has to be gone.
I don't think he'll be going back down to AA and all that kind of stuff. But the other thing is I was really surprised by the lack of movement on starting pitchers until the very, very end. There was a lot of comments made on MLB and ESPN about, reliever. Like this is the trading deadline of relievers. But then at the end, it got really hot and heavy. And I honestly thought Cease was going to go. I really thought he was going to go. And I'm not saying at all cost I wanted him gone. We both have commented that he just frustrates us because he's so good, but
Yeah.
he can be so bad, you know. But I think that AJ and I think Schilt, I think they really believe that he can turn the corner. And you know what? I can't doubt that either. He's got the stuff. If he could just get away from that one inning, you know, I keep hoping that he'll, you know, get zoned in with Darvish about, you know, how it's throwing strikes can be your best friend. You know, Michael points out Darvish, you know, 70 pitches in the seventh inning. I don't know if we had a pitcher since Michael King do that, you know, and yeah, we got a deep bullpen, but yeah, it'd be nice when a guy's on a roll, because that's what I like most about what Darvish is doing, is when a guy's on a roll like that and he's up to 95 pitches and you have to pull in them fifth, you're like, well, crap, that was 5 good shutout innings, but now I already got to go to my bullpen, you know,
Right.
whereas by him pitching like he did the other night and going 7, well, now I only have to use 2 innings a bit or 3 innings.
Well, we were at the game Monday when Cease was pitching, and he got hit in the head. You know, luckily it bounced
the grounder,
off the ground
thank you.
for,
Yeah.
but still got hit in the head. Came back, it was electric, and then he had that inning. Was it the 5th inning?
2 walks and a bomb.
2 walks and a
Grand
bomb. It's
slam.
just like
Yeah.
it's like, come on. And it was a 3-2 pitch, I think, with 2 outs. And I go, God, I just put my head down. And he goes, what? I go, this guy drives me crazy. And I like him. I like Cease because he has, I mean, he struck out the side to start the game.
He's got the second highest per 9 inning strikeout in the major leagues.
And I know I've talked about this before,
like 11.2 or something like that.
Say the playoffs come and he's still inconsistent. I say you put him in the bullpen. If we make the playoffs, you can put him in the bullpen.
Yeah, you know, you're going to have a lot of those kind of options. You know, I'm sure that's one of the reasons why we got 2 left-handers out of the trades. You know, when you get Sears and when Cortez comes back, you know, you want to have some balance that you can throw out there for an inning or two. And again, as proven, unfortunately, by the Dodgers and us last year, you can go a long ways if you've got a very deep bullpen, because then you can give different looks. Nobody has to face the same guy. I mean, you don't have to face the same guy. The hitter can't face the same pitcher, you know, more than once in a game. I mean, there is, you know, how many times have you watched a baseball game and you see first time through the lineup 182, second time through the lineup 274, you know, third time 334, you know. It's pretty evident that a lot of pitchers just, you know, trying to make the change. I don't see that with Darvish. I don't see that with King, but most of your middle to lesser pitchers have that problem. They don't know how to change the motion, or, you know, what, you know, the pitch sequence and things like that. You know, things I know as I was coaching Little League, I would tell the kids like, hey, you know, got to change it up. Remember what you got them out on. Okay, well, the news does something different, you know, and set them up for that pitch. Like Greg Maddux, the one time I always love that story of Greg Maddux, how Bagwell was coming up, and Atlanta and Houston were both going to make the playoffs. And Bagwell came up, and Maddux threw a pitch. He knew that Bagwell would just kill, and he let him hit a home run. He basically just fed him one. And he says, I knew I might have to face him in the playoffs, and I wanted to set him up. And sure enough, it came up in the playoffs, and he had set him up and got him on a pitch he wasn't looking for, because I'm sure Bagwell was going, oh, last time he went inside, and, you know, he's going to do that again. And nope, he did something totally different. So the good pitchers professor. Are pitchers. Yeah, the good pitchers are pitchers. They know how to pitch. Yeah.
It's funny you brought up Bagwell, because I was going to say something on Twitter yesterday. I forgot all about it. It's time for Fernando Tatis to get the Bagwell batting glove that protects his hand.
Why?
Remember how many times Bagwell broke his hand on pitches inside?
Was it Bagwell or Biggio?
No, Biggio had the whole suit of armor, but it was Bagwell that kept breaking his hand.
Okay, because Biggio got hit more than almost any player in baseball.
Yeah, but he leaned into him, and he went up there with he was a knight. Yeah. He had so much armor. It was, to me, always
him and Barry Bonds.
Yeah, I just think it's crap when somebody doesn't move or leans into a pitch. You know, you want to do it with your bare body?
Yeah.
Okay. But when you're leaning in, I mean, Don Baylor got hit a lot. He didn't have any padding. He just, you know, it was all him. But anyway, I said, Fernando's they're going to keep pitching him inside. They don't care.
Yeah.
So he needs to get that pad, that batting glove that Beach, now you got me saying Beach.
I know what you're saying. Yeah.
To protect himself, because we can't lose him.
Well, the problem is it can never protect fingers, no matter what you get. Fingers are, you know, look at Suarez, you know, I mean, that was like the Diamondbacks' worst nightmare when he gets hit 2 days before the trading deadline. You're like, oh my gosh, probably the number one trading chip in the world, and he's going to be out. I know you watched a lot of the trading deadline. I have my obvious winners. Who were yours?
Well, you got to go the Padres. I thought the Mets on paper helped themselves. Yankees, hate to say it, Michael, but yes, your Yankees did. I thought they did well. The two teams that the Diamondbacks and Giants, we should have no problem with them now.
No, we shouldn't.
But you never know. I mean, I get
Yeah.
it, but you never know. But the Giants, you traded for Devers, and then a month later you're selling.
Yeah.
So
well, that's what having Bob Melvin and second half Bob Melvin, as your manager.
yeah.
I thought the Mariners I thought really won.
Oh yeah,
I mean,
Mariners
and
with Naylor
and they got Naylor and Suarez. They didn't have to do anything else, and because their pitching is flipping awesome. I mean, that staff is just incredible.
Yeah. They have a good bullpen,
and they already got J Rod, and they've got Cal Raleigh, and their first six looks terrifying, quite honestly. Unfortunately, we got to play them again too, and they already beat us as it was. I thought that the Mets did well. I thought the Yankees did well. I thought the Astros did real well too. Astros went all in. I mean, them and the Padres probably made it seem like about half the deals.
Yeah.
I thought that I felt for so there's always the teams that I feel for, the Minnesota Twins fans.
Yeah.
I mean, not just unloading, but do they have enough players to field the team?
Yeah, it's crazy because I was like, wait, Minnesota. I looked at they're 5.5 games out of the wild card spot, and I kind of get that, but it's like
right.
you can get on a roll and get back into it. If I was a Twins fan, I'd be upset.
Yeah,
because they said that Byron Buxton didn't want to be traded, and you got to
be. Well, good luck. You're the last guy standing then.
Well, he's on the IL now, but still, I was like going, well. Why would you want? If I was Byron Buxton, I'm like, okay, you need to trade me. You're obviously not trying to win, and I feel for a team like that, and it's again because we were that team years ago. So people complaining about the Padres, the moves that H.A. Preller's making, we were that team at the trade deadline. It wasn't who we're going to get; it's who we're going to lose.
Right.
And
you got a lot of teams like that, and I get it. It's hard. You sit here and think about it in the terms of there's, somewhere around 55 games left, give or take for every team. And I'm sitting here looking at the American League standings, for example, and you got the Yankees as the number one wild card. They're 3 games in front. Boston, Terrell, them, they're 1.5 in front. And Seattle and Texas are even. The problem is everybody behind them is probably going, well, we could pass them. The problem is you got Cleveland 2.5, Kansas City 3, Tampa Bay 3.5, LA Angels 4, Minnesota 5.5. How many teams do you realistically think you can jump in that situation? True. I mean, you can get on a really good roll. There's never the math will always work if you really want it to. But do you really think that you're going to be able to chump 5 or 6 teams? Because not everybody in the American League can lose all at the same time. Somebody's got to keep winning.
That's true.
And I think the National League is a little bit more clear cut because you do have a chasm not only between the Padres and the Reds of 3, but after that it's 5.5 for St. Louis and 6 for San Francisco. I thought the National League as a whole did a better job of realizing who's in, who's out, and maybe that's just because of the numbers. But man, like you said, Minnesota's 5.5 out, but I actually give them credit for taking advantage of it and just saying, we're just going to divest ourselves. I'm also glad that Buxton was on the IL, and I'm also glad that they didn't trade Joe Ryan to anybody we didn't want them to, because I know there was a lot of teams that really wanted Joe Ryan.
Right.
And he's been one of probably the top 5 pitchers this year in baseball. He's been phenomenal. I also wonder though, where do you stop on that? Where do you if you got somebody that's controllable, for a few years, where do you stop? So, like the Laureano thing, I'm just like, okay, so now you're basically telling your fans, what I say, he's got, I think it's I'll look it up to make sure I'm not misrepresenting here. But Lariano's got another year after this. So you're basically telling your fans we're not going to be any good next year either, because
Yeah.
otherwise we'd keep this guy.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
I mean, a $6 million club option these days for a very serviceable outfielder is cheap. So
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Your team. I mean, I don't know how bad Buxton is off. I mean, hopefully he's on my teams, my fantasy team. So hopefully he comes back. I mean, I get making trades. Like if a guy like, okay, he's walking this year. Okay, we're not going to sign him to a huge contract. I get those kind of trades. Like you're saying, I got a guy next year. He's only making $6 million. He's, you got to try and keep the fans invested in the team. And again, I know how hard it is because I was a fan of a team that did that all the time. And you're like going, and then they trade for these young guys like Sean Abner and, all these guys. You go, oh, he was a number 1 overall pick at one point. Well, there's a reason why they traded him, because he wasn't very good.
Right.
It is what it is. But I don't know. It just seems like some of these teams, like Cleveland.
Well, that's why I go back, though, Jack, to my original statement. The one thing you have to appreciate, whether or not you like the trades or not, is that AJ, and especially since 2000, has been all in every year. We're going for it. We're going for it. And the good thing is that he's put a good enough team on there. And I always say this, preface this by saying only one team can win the World Series. That's just the facts of life. But knowing every year that you are in it enough that he's made deals to get players rather than give them away tells you that, in the grand scope of the last 6 years, he's done a pretty good job of putting a team together and trying to get there. If there would have been a couple of years there where you're 10 games under 500, then you can say, but no, every year he's invested. Every year we get to the trading deadline, we're buyers. And that's all. As a fan, other than just saying we win a World Series, that's all I can ask for from my ownership.
Because people say Padres only support a winner. They've never won the World Series. I always point that out. But most fans just want ownership that cares, that is trying to win. If you're because when we went to the game on Monday, Cindy goes, "This is Monday night. This place is packed." I go, "Yeah, it's like this every night." And then I was watching the game yesterday. Day game, she goes, "Don't people in San Diego have jobs?" Because the stadium was packed. I go,
"Well, I don't but yeah."
Yeah, I said, I don't know what it is, but even during the week, people and opposing fans come in and go, "My God, this place is electric on a Tuesday night, Monday night."
Well, don't think that players don't notice it. They talk about it all the time in the interviews. It's like, how do you like playing there? Manny Machado and Tatis, I can remember specifically them calling out and saying, "Yeah, this is a Monday night and it's a packed house. How can you not want to play here?"
Right. And so I think,
but they created that. The ownership created that. Rest in peace, Peter Seidler created that. Kind of adheres to the theory you've always said. It's like if you give, and I don't think San Diego's unique about that. I think if you
anybody.
If you go to any city and if you give them a winning organization and willing to spend some money and be aggressive and try to make the playoffs every year, I think most cities will support it.
I think they will, because people don't want to pay for, like, again, hate to keep bringing up the Chargers, but there was a different in ownership, different policy. It's like, hey, you're lucky to have us, was their attitude. Right. And Peter Seidler made it. He made it a family. He made the Padres, they're your team, and we're going to help you win. We want us to win for you. That was never the attitude of the Chargers, and it showed because fans started going, "All right, I'm not playing for your crap anymore." But the Padres, the last 5-6 years, and I mean, we're not a large market, but we're in top 3 in attendance.
Yeah,
that's incredible.
You have current models of that too. You look at the Marlins, and you look at the Rays, and the Rays, have been a good team, but I think that at first they were drawing some pretty decent crowds, but then they became we're never going to go out and invest on anybody. We're going to homegrown everything. And then when the guys got, towards the end of their tenure, we're going to trade them.
Right.
So that's kind of more of the model that I thought the Padres were before, was like the Rays, where We're going to depend on our farm system. But oh, by the way, when these guys, make the major leagues, and when they get good, we're going to trade them. Tony Gwynn, rest in peace, was one of the anomalies of that because he was so good they couldn't trade him.
And he didn't want to go either.
Well, that was kind of later on, I thought,
Yeah.
but I think that more than anything, though, people want somebody to go watch, a team to go watch. I always said back in the day, it's like, man, give me a 500 team where I feel like I've got a half, 50-50 chance of seeing a good game. But, I went to games back in the 70s and the 80s, and they just absolutely stunk. But it was hard. It was hard. The only reason I went is because it was so cheap. It was an entertaining night, but it was frustrating because you're just so bad.
No traffic getting out of the stadium.
Yeah, you knew you weren't gonna. Yeah, you weren't gonna have to fight your way out. That's for sure.
I
think that's where I learned. I think that's where I originally learned to stay till the whole game because what, there's only 3,000 of us here. I don't think it's gonna take too long to get out of the parking lot.
Yeah, it was, and people think we're joking. We're not. It used to be the joke in San Diego. It's probably everywhere. It's like, what time's the game tonight? What time can you be here?
I remember walking up, Jack. I remember walking up to the ticket window 5 minutes before game time and getting premier seats or whatever. The guy like, where do you want to sit? It's open. Yeah. I worked as a vendor there in the old Loge section, which was 1 through 50, I believe it was. On game nights, except for when Randy Jones pitched a couple of years there, on game nights, we only serviced 29 to 32. They didn't even sell the tickets on the other sides of them because it wasn't worth spreading out the crowd. They wanted to condense them, and that was behind home plate. But 29 to 32. I remember it's where we always got our seats, and the upper deck at most games was closed. We didn't even open up the upper deck. It's laughable. It really is.
I can remember you go to the game, you get a seat behind the home dugout or visitor dugout.
Yeah.
And literally you had leg room. There's no one, your friends sitting at 3 seats, you got plenty of room. I said, God, this is great. But you
couldn't even take credit for catching a foul ball because it was too easy to get one.
You just had to
you just had to run over and get it.
What do you mean run? Walk over and get it. But yeah, it's great that the atmosphere and just the it's like I said, we were there Monday night and it was like this is just and when Fernando Tatis made that play again where we were sitting, I couldn't see it initially, but when I saw the ball come back right away, I said, oh, he caught it, and just the way the reaction of the crowd. But then when you see it on the big screen, you go, oh my God, how do you make that catch? And he had 2 great plays that game. So it was just, I'm excited. I'm excited for this final stretch. The teams that, like I said, the Giants and D-backs, I'm going to assume are not going to be a threat to us anymore.
If they are standings. I mean, obviously, if you're playing them, anybody's a threat. Anybody's got a bat in their hand and a ball in their hand, can cause a problem. We got about 8 minutes here. So the one thing we do know that's coming up is a pretty rough stretch, though. It got a little bit easier because the Giants, but the Giants didn't wholesale trade either, though. They just traded Tyler Rogers and was there any other?
They traded that other reliever.
To
the Yankees.
Duvall.
Yeah, Duvall to the Yankees.
Yeah. So their bullpen got a little weaker, but they still got Logan Webb, and they still got hitters over there.
They still have Ray.
But that's coming up, and it's on the 11th. The stretch starts from the 11th to the 24th, where we play between home and away is the Giants 7 and the Dodgers 6. So that's a big one, and we got St. Louis coming up, and I think we need to bury St. Louis this time. I think we need to get them so they're not even thinking about it anymore.
But again, it's baseball. It's division rivals, so you always have to worry about that. But again, I just feel good. I just feel good about. I was like,
I feel like we won the trade. I mean, I feel like we were one of the winners of the trading deadline. Let's put it
yeah.
that way.
And people can complain
Um,
about the prospects all they want. I think we traded like 13 or something like that, whatever it
yeah,
was.
it's
I,
some
gar-
crazy
I,
number. Yeah,
I guarantee you, all 13 are not going to make it to the majors.
yeah. So I'm looking ahead at our schedule. So we play St. Louis here for 3, and then we go to Arizona quickly for 3. But then I mean, it's pretty tough. We play Boston here for 3, then San Francisco for 3, and at LA for 3, and then back here for 4 against San Francisco and 4 against the Dodgers. Then we
Wow.
got to go to Seattle for 3 games.
Yeah.
And then,
Seattle's got a
and
great
then
team.
I will have to say, and then, so starting August 29th, so we've kind of got almost a really weird schedule here. We're playing really good teams for like the next month. I mean, pretty much the month of August. But get this: when we come back, and we from Seattle, we go to Minnesota for 3, Baltimore here for 3, at Colorado for 3, versus Cincinnati for 3, versus Colorado for 4. We got to go to the Mets for 3. We play Chicago White Sox there for 3, and then we play Milwaukee and Arizona here. Which by then, I mean, not every team in there, but you got a night and day schedule coming up. August is tough, and September looks pretty inviting,
Uh,
especially when you consider what it could be by about that time.
Before I make our picks, I'm gonna ask you: we're 3 behind the Dodgers. Can we and will we catch them and pass them?
Yeah, that's always a tough one because I think, and again, in fairness to the Dodgers, if they get healthy, they're a different team.
Oh yeah.
And but I say the same thing about us. We got Darvish back now, and he looks like he's there now. You got King coming back in a couple more rehabs, and so you know, I look at the current week of offense and say, you know what, if we can do that without O'Hearn, Laureano, and Furman, how much better are our chances of doing that a little bit more regularly? Did our chances improve? 3 games is still a lot of games. I mean, that especially when you're following a very competitive team, maybe the best
Oh,
roster out there when healthy.
when
Um,
healthy, yeah.
but do I
I
think
would say
we
yeah.
but do I think we could do it? Absolutely, because we still got 55 games left. If you were asking me this question with 10 games left, I'd go, not the greatest of chances. But yeah, 3 games. I think it would be tight if we do. I don't think we're just going to go blowing by them.
No.
I think a lot of it has to be said about how we handle them with the 7 games we have left with them. The more the schedule of games shrinks, the more important those 6 games are going to be. And so you know what, the average team. Michael's making a comment because he's right. The average team that I was criticizing previously is no longer average. They filled all 3 holes as far as I'm concerned, and they actually created even a more explosive bullpen than I would have ever imagined. So that's my reason, Michael, of why I'm more optimistic, because as they were currently set up, catcher was weak, left field was weak, even though Bryce Johnson and Sheets were doing an admirable job. They didn't have any bench strength whatsoever. Iglesias, that was it. And now they got even a better bullpen. And quite honestly, I think the sneaky ones are they went and got JP Sears. I know Cortez is coming off a rehab. We'll see what he's got, but I'm not dependent on him. Sears is the one that I think might be the guy. The guy's a hard worker. He's had good seasons. He post much like Dylan Cease. He's out there every 5th day with the ball. So I'm more optimistic than I was before. I don't think we're going to overwhelm anybody, but I think we're more set for a run. Yes. How about
So
you?
I guess we're optimistic now, right, Michael?
I'm slightly optimistic. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so we got 3 against St. Louis, and
Well,
you
what,
said
what what do you think? Do you think we got enough to catch the Dodgers?
yes.
All right.
But again, if they get Snell back, Tyler Glass now keeps pitching the way he's capable of pitching without getting hurt. Otani, who knows what they're going to do with Otani. Um, They have some bullpen guys that are slowly coming back. Yeah, they can be a threat, but they, I mean, I'm not a threat. Technically, and you look at their roster, but again, they got a lot of guys that are aging. Betts is not playing well, but if Betts can play well, Freeman has a good final 55 game. It's going to be tough because when they're healthy, yeah, they're pretty loaded.
I think the biggest difference, and I've said this before, the Dodgers with one swing can win a game. We don't do that nearly as much as they do.
No.
So their advantage to me, our advantage is our bullpen. There's no doubt about it. Our advantage is our bullpen. Our advantage is batting average. Theirs is slugging. Starting pitching. I think when all things are right, I think we match up. I'm not saying there's not a little 50-50, 49-50, but I think we match up well with them. It's, to me, the power that they can, if they get on a streak where they're starting to hit home runs, they've got about 6 guys in that lineup that just go on tears. Exactly. So I think that's a big difference. But I got to tell you, the teams I'm more worried about are the ones that aren't in a division, because I'm telling you right now, I know we just got done with the Mets, but man, the Mets, the Phillies, the Brewers, and the Cubs. And, as Michael said, Cincinnati, I'm not sleeping on them.
No.
I mean, you put me against the Dodgers or any of those 4 teams, this is going to be a dogfight. I don't think there's anybody that's overwhelming anybody, but I don't look forward to playing any of those teams.
You look at the National League, it's a rough road. If you get to the World Series, you've earned it.
Yes,
because
exactly.
Again, it's like, okay, yeah, the Mets and Phillies. You have, like you said, the Brewers have the best record in baseball, right?
Right. Yeah.
So
the Cubs are only one behind them.
Yeah, Cubs are only one behind them. So you got teams. They're just, and a lot of them made good. The Phillies got their closer.
The Phillies have the best starting pitching.
Yeah,
I mean, when you really get down to it, they're 1, 2, 3 are better than anybody's.
And the Mets had a good bullpen before, and now they've improved on it. They picked up a hit or two. Who did they pick up center field? I forget who they picked up, but
Mullins.
Yeah, Cedric Mullins, who's
the guy I wanted.
Yeah, he's great defensively. Yeah. Can hit, has some pop. So yeah, it's gonna be. It's not going to be a cakewalk to get to the World Series.
Yeah, and I'm sure Michael would tell you that the American League's not a cakewalk either.
No.
There's just more separation though, because a lot of times in years past, the teams that make the wild card are really, not always, but far behind the league leaders, and you kind of go, okay, you really just got to be, you're going to win this one, and then you're going to have to fight. This year, man, starting right from the get-go, the wild cards are going to be tough.
Yeah.
No matter, and as it sits right now, no matter who you face, and a lot can change in 55 games. We'll see, but yeah, let's hope we make it. I mean, let's get there first.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
All right, we got 3 against St. Louis. You said, and 3 against Arizona.
That is correct. Here against St. Louis.
And where's Oz?
It's I don't know. So we got Pivetta against Liberatore, which is a rematch. We got Vasquez versus McGreevy and Cease versus Palante. Arizona, we do not have anybody listed in the August 4th game, but we have Darvish and Pivetta after that. I think this will be subject to change because I think now that we got Sears, somewhere King may pop in pretty soon. But Arizona does not have they don't have Kelly anymore. I was kind of surprised that Gillian wasn't traded, but we'll see. Matchups are.
Well, the problem
I feel pretty good about 4-2. I think 501 might even be a possibility. Yeah.
The problem with is Zach Gallen, right?
Yeah.
He's been pitching so poorly. I'm sure people are trying to lowball him.
Well, and he kills us. Like he's just one of those guys that always seems to find our number.
So did Merrill Kelly.
Yeah, but the big thing about Arizona, I mean, come on, you don't have Suarez anymore, who's not just a Padre killer. He's hit 38 home runs, but they also got rid of Naylor, and yeah, they got some guys still left, but that's losing a lot out of your lineup.
Yeah.
So the offensive threat isn't nearly what it usually is with Arizona, because they usually do bring the big boys. They still got Marte, they still got Carroll, and it's at Arizona. But I get the feeling the attendance might be down a little bit there. Wish I had the wherewithal to just maybe want to go up there and catch a few games, but yeah.
If I lived, I might do it if I lived in San Diego. Might do
I
it.
made that drive last year. That is not a fun drive. Yeah, not
Fly
at all.
there.
Yeah, that's a possibility.
I was in Phoenix just the other day. They say it's the friendliest airport ever.
Yeah, I got stuck there the last trip that we made to see you guys, and yeah, I was there for 4 hours one time and 3 hours the next.
The funny thing was, there you couldn't find restaurants. I go,
oh no, they're at the end.
Yeah,
they're at the end.
Well, maybe we didn't walk that far. We had.
I did. I had plenty of time, but yes, it is. You have to walk the whole way. Yeah, it's.
We had a 3.5 hour layover, and then at one point they said we were going to be delayed another hour, and I said, oh, "Come on!" And then they said they were switching planes, but then they came back and the plane, I don't know, magically appeared. We left on time. It was a good flight.
Makes you really comfortable getting on that plane, huh? Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Talking about being optimistic, right?
Yeah, I'm optimistic that we can make it at least to Nashville in the air. I'm going to go. Here, Michael. I'm going to show you how optimistic I can be.
He's going for a shutout. 6-0.
6-0.
Wow.
I'm on a high right now. I'm on a high.
Yeah.
I'm a Padre fan. I'm a San Diego
Sports
fan.
We look really good on paper.
Yes. I know.
It's like the preseason when, you haven't even played a game yet, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, they're going to win. Oh, how can they not win?
To be honest with you, I'd be happy with 4-2, but
win series.
Yeah, I'm going for the double sweep.
Yeah, I talk to Michael all the time, as you know. And what do I say, Michael? It's like just win every series. If you do that, you're a 667 club.
You talk to them all the time
plenty
because
enough to get
you're
there.
the mayor of Verona.
No, but yeah, I got to see my good friend Michael today. Got to talk to him some baseball, and that makes my day. So,
hey, did you win or did you lose?
Win the series, right, Michael? Win the series. All right.
All right, guys. We're going to wrap this up. Hopefully, Jay. I can't remember last time Jay was on the show.
I think he's made 1 out of the last 6. So
okay,
I don't know.
He's got a.
He's a busy guy.
He's in a band. He's got a concert tonight. So
yeah.
Jerry always wins.
Yeah. Well, don't tell Tammy that. So. All right, my man.
All right, take care. Next time. And we'll see you next week, guys. Okay. And I'm really upset with Oz, but that's okay.
Yeah.